The wait is over, Gothamites. We are here to talk about Gotham Season 3, Episode 15, How the Riddler Got His Name. It's all here, it's all live, and it's all next.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yes, classic Amy Winehouse moments showing up in this episode, which I always really appreciate. It's a lot of fun.
Good to know.
Amy is classic.
Yeah, I would say,
It brings us in on a nice chill tone to this
Yes,
episode.
chill.
Bring us right back in to Season 3, Episode 15 of Gotham. I'm your host, Steve Kaufmann. You can find me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. That is Kaufmann. But I'm not alone. Panel's full strength today, starting to my immediate left.
Hey guys, I'm Joelle Monique. You can find me all over the internet at Joelle Monique and every week at blackgirlnerds.com.
Hey guys, I'm Lacretia Lyon, so you can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet since there is only one.
So, it's been a long time.
Yes.
We're all back. How are we feeling about this episode?
I liked it. Some big, bold new choices, some new directions here and there. I like Rogue Cop Jim. I am not a fan of Dark Bruce, but we'll get into it when we start the show.
We'll definitely get into Dark Bruce.
Yeah, I was loving the use of Lucius in this episode and Bullock, because anything Bullock I love. And then I really liked the scenes with Riddler and Ghost Penguin.
I always... The use of Lucius in this episode is pretty well deserved, because I thought he was incredibly underutilized this whole series.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because they introduced him like the second part of season 1, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
So that like for us to like really not get into like, no, this guy's really awesome. And he's Lucius like
Yeah, well, he's also just the perfect addition. Like, the only detectives we know from the Gotham Squad are very reactionary people, which, doesn't always make for a great cop, just to be popping off every second something doesn't go your way. And see a calm presence really plays well against Bullock's kind of zany craziness.
Yeah, it's kind of off the walledness.
Yeah, I love their romance, even though I miss him and Jim, but I like Foxy and Bullock.
So, are we gonna change it to Clone Bruce, or are we gonna stick with Emo Bruce? I'm okay with sticking with Emo Bruce. Court of Owls Bruce would be too on the nose.
Yeah.
I had a feeling that at the end, maybe Alfred knew something was up, because he was all about eating that shepherd's pie when he got home, and Alfred's like, wait, no, this is queer. So I'm hoping that when we come back, Alfred smashes a plate over his head and we move on with it, because I don't like Dark Bruce. No.
I'm just saying, should we call him Emo Bruce or not?
Yeah.
I think we should call him Emo Bruce. That's how he originated here.
Okay, I'm totally fine
Here
with
in
Emo
AfterBuzz
Bruce.
TV,
And
he's
Eric
Emo
Olin
Bruce.
in the chat says #Emo Bruce, so I think we'll stick with that. But yeah, I do feel that this storyline's a little too much, but I get why they felt they may have had to wrap it up quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, although they're far from wrapping it up as much as they're accelerating it. So we start out pretty early in this episode with the Court of Owls training Clone Bruce, escaped Bruce.
How creepy was it that he was just having to do the training on his, parents' death?
I love
that. It was creepy.
I like that everyone knows that's the cornerstone of Bruce now. There's no question. You need to know the pearl yanking, bats flying out story so that we can convince people. I was actually rolling my eyes during the scene because I was like, again with the parents' death, but I liked the reveal that it was Clone
And
Bruce.
I also think Gordon seems to play massively into this, that I think if they assume they can't get Gordon, then they're going to need that Emo Bruce to get to Gordon, because that would be the other way to get to Gordon. So in order to do that, they need him to be fully utilized.
That makes sense.
Although, a question they're never going to answer, but I'm still curious. Was he placed there by the Court of Owls, and then he escaped, and then the Court of Owls retrieved him? Or did somebody else clone Bruce Wayne separate of the Court of Owls? And now the Court of Owls are just taking advantage of happening to find a cloned Bruce.
Because weren't the Court of Owls over Indian Hill and Dr. Hugo Strange and stuff like that? So I do think that they had this whole plan from the beginning.
I like to think that they had a plan, scratched it, and then they're like, wait, that clone we made years ago, he's back. We can totally use him now.
That their
And
plan
now
was
they
to
have
keep
him.
the clone at Indian Hill.
Yes.
And then the clone got out of Indian Hill. And they're like, but wait, we run the whole city. The clone didn't leave the city. We're good.
We got plans now. We got options.
We'll still find that clone.
It might be plan B or C, but yeah.
So Alfred is teaching regular Bruce, as we'll call him, to throw knives and do his warrior training, which, I mean, in no canon did Alfred alone teach Bruce Wayne to become Batman, become a warrior,
Yes.
become anything other than like a well-respected gentleman and a bit of a, billionaire playboy. Like both of those, like that's Alfred in both sides. But I would argue they're obviously making it clear that Alfred has extenuated how he's trained Bruce.
Yeah.
And it's gotten to a point where he's motivating him with letters that we initially thought Alfred... Oh, so Alfred made up a letter?
I thought it
It's
was
Clone Bruce. Now we know it's
Emo
Clone...
Bruce.
No, we know
Yeah.
it's Emo Bruce now.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was the guys who were beating him up down at the dock. And they were, like, looking for money, and maybe they worked for the court.
No, those were just street toughs.
Yeah?
Yeah. The
Okay.
court's not... The court is like 12 people.
No, I know, but they employ a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I honestly, I just thought that they sent them out so they would know where Bruce was and it would be easier to kidnap him instead of going in and
Oh, that you
retrieving
think
him.
that... Or that this was all Emo Bruce. This was all Emo Bruce's plan, that I'm going to leave a letter so he comes to find Selina. He'll come to find Selina while she's talking to a gang of 4 dudes. Those 4
Yeah.
dudes will beat him up.
Yep.
Maybe he'll beat them up. I don't know.
That was kind of shocking for me.
I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah, no, he should be good, and I like that it happened, but I was still like, yes, kick ass, Bruce. I was expecting to take the whole crew by himself.
Although the hands up turn I always like, where somebody just gets beat down like a punk, and then they stand up and they just do this, and then all of a sudden they're just like, nope,
like on.
nope.
You can hear the 80s music raging in the background.
Right.
Totally.
I could totally buy that. And then we're hitting this whole topic now. He's waking up somewhere. I don't think I'm bordering on predictions when I say he's waking up and being trained by Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
You would think. You would
That-
think. The mountain definitely gives that appearance.
This is Gotham. You can't rule out any that could just be.
And we
could
do
be
know
just
that
Joel.
Raja Ghul has been cast, so yeah.
Yeah, it seems very likely that he's going to wake up and get trained by Ra's al Ghul. The only question is, why would the Court of Owls do that?
Yeah.
How did the argument would be that they could keep a trained.
Maybe Raish is in there. I got very deep Bane feelings in this episode too, where we're waking up in prison. It's far away. I mean, Bane typically is held underground, but the light kind of thing at the top gives Bane essences. Maybe I also like that maybe Raish is just outside the prison and Bruce just needs to escape and find him to begin his training. Like maybe this is a far off place, no one will see him, and it's a good place to hide him.
And
But
that
Raish
Bruce
just
is-
happens to be around the corner.
But Raish just happens to be near the prison and
Yes.
unaffiliated with the Court of Owls. I don't.
Raish probably knows about the Court of Owls because he's old as hell. So.
But the Court of Owls' plan wasn't to lock Bruce up with Ra's al Ghul to train to be a warrior. I think their plan was to lock Bruce up and then Bruce gets out and then finds Ra's al Ghul. That would make a lot more sense.
Yes.
But it's Gotham. It'll both of them
Both could happen.
Both could happen, and they'll make sense within the context of the episode. But if you tell me what'll happen next week, right now, I'll tell you it's stupid.
Yeah, because the Court of Owls
need the whole-
they probably have this whole conspiracy of creating Batman. Like, they've had this plan since, before he was born. So that's why they're like, all right, we got to kill his parents. We got to get him around some bats so he's scared. Then we're going to put him in this prison to be trained by Ra's al Ghul because we literally control everything. They are the shadow government.
They definitely run the whole city.
I'm a bit paranoid.
So, I think we can move on over to Enigma.
Yeah.
And the hallucinogenics he's taking that are white pills.
Yes.
I'm a little familiar with hallucinogenics. I'm not sure what he's taking.
I mean, if
be
they look like a
LSD.
Tic Tac thing, yeah, which sometimes you can lace your Tic Tacs with acid and just take those.
Yeah, I've done sweet tarts that way.
Okay.
But yeah, it is kind of weird that he would have the pills because that's not really how most
I think
hallucinogens
that's-
come. But you could do.
I also like the
later.
timelessness
Yeah.
of Gotham is that he'll just have he takes the drugs, and then they make him hallucinogenic, and he can see someone who's dead.
So cool.
He can see Cobblepot, who's the mayor. He can be the ghost mayor.
I like that it was his, because sometimes I think when you get visions or ghosts or internal mind things, they feel a lot like the person, and this felt so much like Enigma's version of Penguin, and I really appreciated that. It worked really well for me to see all of the love, and yet him not being able to return it. I don't know. I just like the way it kind of delved into his psyche.
Yeah, I liked that we had Ed have that moment of the whole episode basically knowing that he killed his best friend, the only person who saw him for who he really was, but he could never love him in the way that he loved him. So this was like deep character stuff. Plus,
I didn't know how to take this.
Yeah.
This is like, oh, this is happening. This
Feelings.
all the feels are happening right now, complete with a dance number.
So good.
Song and dance number that
That was the best
is
part.
there a GIF on Twitter already?
There should
There
be.
better
Somebody
be.
tweet it at me if it's out there. If not, I'll have to like make it.
I
I'll be
like
doing
the
my due
cabaret
diligence over
style
here,
of
fine.
it. Like I liked the kind of showy performance, tripped out. It kind of reminded me of the Mad Hatter, and I wouldn't mind if he showed up again soon.
Yeah, that guy
maybe
needs-
Oh
distributing
man,
pills.
yes please,
So great.
yes please on some Mad Hatter. So this was well told, and this was well told, and then he had to overcome killing Penguin, killing the only person he's ever that ever truly knows him, to be a villain. He overcomes that, becomes a villain. JK, Penguin's not dead.
And it's not on there yet, but fans make that.
Yeah. One, I knew they weren't gonna Penguin's like the most beloved character on
I'm
this
not
show.
saying I'm not saying he should have died and then you have to go you have to do some heavy lifting to make him be alive again. I am saying he could have woken up in that bed 3 or 4 weeks from now.
Sure.
I don't want to say he's seen stealing either, but I do think we could have gone a couple weeks without Penguin. After this week, we could have gone a couple weeks without Cobblepot.
It would have
at
built
all.
a lot of tension for me, certainly, because I would start to get nervous and be like, oh my god, they really killed, I'd have to start looking at, IMDb, how many episodes is he in this season? I would be concerned.
He has season credits.
Yes, that's true. But you can find these things
I think a
out.
lot of people have season credits. I think Jada Pinkett Smith has season credits for that reason.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people in shows specifically like this have season credits.
Then I would agree with you. I would have been nervous as hell if they had gone 2 more episodes without there's just no Penguin, and I'd be like, where is he?
Knowing them, I'm sure they're gonna make up for it immediately. The first scene next week, where I'm like, oh, Happy Penguin's here. This is
mean-
perfect. But as of now, I'm like, man, I really wish there was no Penguin for 2 weeks so other characters can shine.
This moment flourished for me just because Ivy is here, and I'm interested to see how they work with a group dynamic. Ivy is a whole bunch of fun, especially now that she's kind of cocky and she's like, I'm Ivy Pepper. Bitch, nobody knows who you are yet. Ivy, calm down. I'm curious as to why she would save Penguin in the first place. What is she hoping to get out of it?
She wants.
Power. I mean,
Yeah, she wants power, and
too,
she knows if she's the one to have nursed the mayor back to health, she could have all the power. Also, Ivan Soto in the chat, Steve, it is 3 weeks in the show's timeline. I agree. I'm talking 3 weeks for us.
Yeah,
Talking 3.
that is
But
the
you are
thing.
correct. The
Yeah.
3 weeks had gone by where Nigma went around and was a smart people serial killer, which as a smart person makes me really concerned. But then I'm not as smart as the 6 people he killed, so I'm good.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
have my PhD just yet, so I think I'm fine.
I'm not showy with my smart. I'm just
No.
regular smart.
But would you be smart enough not to touch the clock after someone got electrocuted at the chess match? The third person to hit their buzzer, I was like, y'all are foolish.
Speaking as someone who's played a lot of chess in their life, you're not paying any attention to anything else. You're
That
just
makes
I've been working towards this my whole life. I'm not paying. This is all a ruse. This guy paid some people to come in here and make a scene.
It's a competitive chess
now I'm
world
dead.
this dubious?
It can be.
Oh my god.
There are some weird characters in the chess world. That I would not put stuff like that past them.
Yeah, every
But
episode of a serial show ever that has a chess match that goes wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, it's not as common, however, and what normally happens is that person will focus, and then lose their focus, or just lose the match normally, and then complain, and that wouldn't make for a good TV show, because then it would just be 2 dudes complaining to a higher power who then has to decide, and
If you put it in The Office, it will be great.
that's true. And
Just all completely incompetent characters.
if Jim and Dwight were having this argument in front of Michael Scott, I agree. I could act that out right now, but this is not the place. This is not the venue. I like serial killer Riddler.
Yeah.
This is the makings of the Riddler. I do have a bit of a gothic civics lesson.
Let's do it.
All right. It's been 3 weeks. As far as we can tell, Cobblepot was the mayor.
Yes.
of Gotham.
Uh-huh.
While he was shot and thrown into a river, presumably dead, didn't die. His deputy mayor, I believe, there's no vice mayor. Your deputy mayor becomes mayor.
Yes.
So, in reality, Nigma is becoming a, smart people serial killer. And the acting mayor.
Yes.
Which is funny in and of itself. Also, Lucius Fox is not a detective. At all.
I feel like with Harvey...
I don't think he's an investigator in the
No,
way... I don't think he has a
was-
badge.
No.
Yeah, he was the fill-in medical examiner when Lee was gone. And then they
And then
just
Lee
kinda
came
kept him
back
there.
and they never really talked about what his
Well,
role...
they said he was bored down in the
Yeah.
medical examining room, and he said yes. And I feel like under, Bullock, whatever's cool, man. Like, Bullock's like, can he solve a case? Get in there. I don't care. He's not worried about it. He didn't know his badge was missing. Like, Bullock is not...
Could we have had that one scene where Bullock had given Fox a badge of just like, hey,
You're a
We need
detective
that for
now.
continuity.
you're a detective now, kid.
I like...
Because he's going to be a detective forever now.
Yeah, it's
and I
like
just
prime
need,
rib.
and I just need that one tiny bit where I'm like, so he's a detective. He was a medical examiner in the basement, and then he had a lead.
What I like
and then
is
the
that
chief gave
this
him
is
the...
Gotham spiraling into chaos. Like, we don't know who the mayor is. Like, anyone can just show up and pretend to be the mayor right now. Like, anyone can be a detective. Can you solve a case? Get in here. Bullock needs you. There's just, I
Gordon
like...
needs the room.
Yes, exactly. Bruce can just go up and missing. There's just no order to anything anymore, and it's kind of beautiful.
It's Gotham.
It's-
Are we playing the drinking game tonight, kids? Oh, and Eric Olin wants to know if he should be taking notes. Will this be on the test, Steve? Yeah.
Parts of this will be on the
Yeah.
test. A lot of this will be on the written. There's going to be a blue book test next week, and it's you're going to need more than one blue book.
It's going to be rough.
You're going to have to explain campaign finance reform within Gotham.
I don't want to take this test.
Well,
Too
Blue
late.
Book, it's essay form for those of you who may have gone to different colleges.
So yeah, the antidote was grape juice, and
What
it was
was with
simple knockout
grapes
gas.
this episode for Riddler? Because he sent the Fruit of the Loom looking grape guy to
Well, I
sing
think
the telegram.
that was the tie back.
And that's-
That was the tie back that like. Although, what I find hysterical is pretty much Lucius didn't have to solve anything ever.
no.
Like, if Lucius were just stupider, he wouldn't have made it to anywhere to answer, like, the questions or do any of that. Like, maybe Bullock would have died. That would have been it. But, like, all the chess players would have lived.
But would Riddler even be, like, serious about continuing searching for answers if he didn't find a good rival? Like, maybe he would have moved on to teachers if no adequate rival showed up. But as soon as he was like, oh, it's a smart person, great.
That's fair. Or he'll go to Metropolis, or he'll, like, find Brainiac, mess with Brainiac.
Yeah,
Brainiac
yeah.
would be the...
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
But-
Even Grodd would be pretty dope.
That would actually be funny that, like, there aren't smart people in Gotham, that Enigma just leaves.
He's like, yeah, I gotta go to Metropolis.
I gotta
maybe
go to another
Starling-
city, guys.
Star City,
I just-
Just a calculator. Yeah.
God, everybody here is just so Midwest.
I can't even tell you guys how exciting it was when he starts describing needing a teacher or a nemesis. And I got this feeling, like, from the start of Gotham, all I've wanted it was a show that needed a Batman. It didn't have one yet. And it took a while for them to get there, but we started seeing pieces of it, and now it's just so fully fledged. You see all these people just needing a Batman, and if the Court of Owls is trying to create a Batman for that, like, I fully appreciate, like, what the show has built to. Like, this idea that, like, not only do people need a Batman, but that a group came together and fulfilled the need to devastate a child's life so he could become the Batman.
That's dark.
It's awesome. I love dark things.
That's really dark, and you're right. That is the Court of Owl's purpose in this world, is to create...
They want to create Batman.
I think they also want to create a Gotham that needs a Batman. Like, I think there's duality to that group. That they want to
just
create a
some
crappy
sick
place.
people.
They want to create a place that's so crappy that they need just, like, this brooding everyman warrior villain or warrior hero that will come out and just be like unhappy about it all the
Well,
time.
it makes total sense because when you're in that kind of business, war is profitable. And so if you constantly have the city at its own neck, like you can constantly play people against each other to make yourself money. And that's really smart.
That's true.
That's what
And then-
America does.
I mean, although I think their plan is going to work out completely. I think they're going to create a Batman, and that Batman is just going to work within their plan. Right. That's totally what's going to happen, right?
How do you mean work within their plan?
I'm being serious. He's going to rebel against the Court of Owls. He's going to rebel against the Court of Owls that killed his parents.
But how successful will he be, and for how long? Because the Court of Owls seems to be one of those things where you might temporarily beat them. And I've not finished Scott Snyder's run of Court of Owls, so don't spoil it for me, guys. But but we've seen him go up against the Court of Owls a lot throughout comic books and comic book history and stuff. So it'd be interesting to see if maybe he thinks he's got him, but not quite. I don't know. I just want the Court of Owls to kind of be forever. Like, I don't want Batman to stop them. I always want there to be a secret group in Gotham trying to control things.
Well, yeah, but he could destroy all but one, and then that one person lays low and then waits for a new generation. Like, of course.
Or, it's released from Arkham because Batman doesn't kill.
That too.
Starts it all up again.
The Court of Owls just run Arkham, and then from Arkham they slowly run the city again.
I buy it.
Gotham is very cyclical.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Gordon and Uncle Frank. Jack. That's Uncle Jack. I can't read today.
Oh.
Isn't it?
Or did I?
I just
I
call
think
him,
you're right.
I
Or
just,
did
I think it's
Frank.
Yeah.
Oh, I wrote it wrong on the board then.
Oh.
It's Uncle Frank. My mind corrected me, and then I
That's
corrected
When
my
we were
mind.
watching
It was-
the episode, I kept calling him Uncle Ben, and I'm like, that's not right.
yeah, that's the wrong canon.
Yeah, he doesn't make him Jim Gordon.
It's just a little slow.
I love James Remar, but all I ever see him as is, Harry. I love him on Dexter. Yeah.
So we get a lot of exposition here. The uncle knows about the uncle knows about the father, but stayed out of Gordon's life this whole time.
Yeah.
He's been in the Court of Owls, but doesn't agree with the Court of Owls, but has been waiting for them to want Gordon in so Gordon can join the Court of Owls and try to destroy the Court of Owls from within.
So he's technically a double agent right now.
Yeah.
It's I don't trust double agents.
Or he's a first test. Or
Yeah.
he's a first test posing as a double agent.
Yeah.
That the double, like, either you kill him or report him, or like you respect the court above all else.
Yeah.
Like he could be an opening test, or a salvo, if you will, since chess and such. Like he could be a salvo
Yes.
to, like, let's see if Gordon's heart is pure or impure or whatever they're looking for in a candidate. So I'm not sure which way that goes. I think the less twisty, better storytelling one is the first one, where it's just, no, I'm a double agent. I've just been waiting a really long time for them to admit you.
Yeah. I'm curious as to why the court wants Jim. Do they need their own private investigator? Are they hoping he'll go back to the GCPD and be their eyes on the inside?
I think they want him to go back to I think if he goes back to the GCPD and things really settle down and they get an actual mayor and a little bit of Gotham Civics, a little more Gotham Civics for this episode, if, like, they get another mayor and all this, like, he would be chief of
Yeah.
not chief
Chief
because
or
there is
commissioner.
there is a chief of, or he would be chief of police because there's still a commissioner.
Yes.
We just haven't seen him much. There's still a police commissioner in Gotham, but, like, Bullock is essentially kind of keeping that chair warm for if on merit Gordon ever wants to come back and fill it, and Court of Owls would want him to come in and fill it, work with, like, and then work his way up politically to become the commissioner we all know he's going to
Interesting.
become.
Yeah, in the chat, pretty well, like Amanda Powell, Evan Soto are talking about, they're not buying what Frank is selling.
Neither
I
do
wasn't
I.
either. I'm like, yeah, there is way more to this. I mean, his own brother was killed and he stuck with them. I don't think he cares about Jim either.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's both make sense. I see it. I think the path
want to
of
use him, yeah.
I don't want to say the path of least resistance, but the path of least, like, less work as
Yeah.
a writer would be to just, no, he is exactly who he says he is, and, like, he's not an honest dude or a good dude because he's already in the Court of Owls and he waited this long, but the fact that he's still absolutely a double agent. and he's trying to make Gordon a double agent.
Yeah. I don't necessarily buy it, but I wouldn't also, like, knowing how important family is to Jim, if that was like a familial trait, like if they totally mafia style, like family above else, then maybe. But we don't know enough about Frank, and what he revealed to us felt super shady. So at this point in time, certainly do not trust him.
We should not trust him, and I think none of us think Gordon will willingly join the Court of Owls, even to be a double agent.
No, God, no. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Exactly.
No.
It would be like that. Did anything else happen there? I think that was. That's why I said this part was a little slow, because at the end we see a lot of building up to the Court of Owls, but this actual interaction was very much like, here's a picture.
Yeah.
Here's a picture, protect
feelings.
their honor kind of a thing.
Cool quotes anyway. I've got to impart my wisdom to the cadets. Oh,
That's some good
Bullock.
wisdom.
That was
Yeah, that was funny.
hilarious. You already said approaching Gotham like you would a prime rib.
Really?
Like, I just cannot.
Bullock is the best.
Yeah, I really enjoyed seeing Bruce fight. I thought that was cool. I like that Ed was just looking for a confessor.
Yeah.
Like, this whole time, Ed's kind of walking through Gotham, causing up a ruckus. Like, someone talk to me and pay attention to me. I have things to say. My heart is heavy. And then when he's like, oh, Foxy, I'm the Riddler. I thought it's just such a great way to bring in that character. I like that we're starting to see the question marks kind of popping up in frames randomly. It's a lot of fun. I'm excited to see what he's going to do as the Riddler. Now that he's kind of stepped into his own, he knows who he is. He's got the suit. He's got the bowler hat. I want the cane with the giant question mark to come out and him start bopping people over the head. I'm ready for it.
Are we? I think we're ready for predictions.
Hell
I
yeah.
think so.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
All right. I think the question only I want answered. Who becomes the mayor? It can't be the Riddler.
No.
Yeah, it's like
The
your other
Riddler
mayor-
by name,
Yeah.
like, it would not be the Riddler. So he would resign as chief of staff, and then whoever's next in line from him as chief of staff would become the mayor.
I halfway expect Barbara or somebody to try and
Oh,
push, because
God.
I mean, it'd be ridiculous, but I feel
Or like a
you
special
know,
election with
yeah.
all these terrible people. Like,
Yeah, it's just all villains running
they
for
hold
mayor.
a special election, and it's all the villains. Mad
Yes.
Hatter's running. He's not even a citizen. Like,
It's beautiful.
that's not a prediction. That's just a funny question. A prediction will be: will Alfred next week find out that Emo Bruce is Emo Bruce?
I think he already kind of suspected something, yeah.
I'm with Lacretia. I think when he was like, okay. I was like, oh, you know. And I hope he teams up with Selena, because that's the last person that Bruce went to see. And I love that they never get along at all, but always have Bruce's best interest at heart. And it would be really funny to see the two of them, like, try to find Bruce together, try to have to work together.
Yeah, that would be funny.
Yeah, we've had so many, like, odd couple pairings this episode. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how Penguin introduces Ivy to what? Like, does he go back to being
underworld,
mayor,
or, like-
or does he introduce her to the underworld? I'll be interested to see what their
And
dynamic
that's
is
the other
like.
thing. Does Cobblepot come out publicly again and be like, I'm still your mayor? Because that would solve that problem.
It would.
Yeah.
It
I would want to see a weird special election first, and
Yeah.
then him show up at the end.
He shows up soap opera style, like when they're calling who's
Dun,
the winner.
dun, dun.
Sky Patterson actually has a really good prediction in the chat here. Frank is actually Gordon's father. He just got reconstructive surgery. And to be honest, this may be on Gotham's News fault, because he was originally cast as
Yes.
Jim's father, and then they changed it
No,
to
that is
Uncle.
true. I meant to
Yeah.
point that out, because
Yeah.
even this season they had been showing us glimpses of the guy with the ring, and that it's his father.
No.
I could buy that. I could buy that, and then it would explain the duplicity, and it would clean it up a lot too.
But think of how angry Jim's gonna be. I mean, it's hot when he's angry, so I'm fine with it. But he's gonna be so pissed.
But
when he
he's
finds out
not
that's his
gonna-
dad. Like, you left me. You weren't there to help mom at all. And then when you come back, you don't even do it as a man. You just straight up lie to me. Like, I need to see Jim this angry.
But he'll be that angry, but he can forgive that person. You were my dad's brother, and you let my dad die, and then you stuck with the organization that let him die for my entire life. Like, I think what had not rung true with us this week is that seems almost unforgivable.
Yeah. and
Whereas if
that's-
it's
yeah.
by the way you told me a lie that was unforgivable, because the truth is way worse, but forgivable.
And two, if that is the case where he faked his death and is sticking with the Court of Owls and that Jim is his son, then you can see him being a double agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
And you also see
Yeah.
him doing what he had to do to protect his son. He stays in not because he wanted to, but because they were going to go after him if he didn't do what they said.
okay. I think we're all on board with this
I love
prediction.
this.
Thank you, Sky Patterson, in the chat
Yeah, that
for
was good.
Beautiful.
calling it out. We're good on Emo Bruce. Does Lucius Fox become a?
If Lucius Fox doesn't stay a detective, I'm writing letters. Like,
Yeah.
I'm putting up a petition on change.org because he's fun. He was funny. The whole bit where Harvey's teetering on the ledge on the chair,
Yes.
which great torture, by the way. Like, at first it's like, that feels kind of silly. But Bulk really sold me as he's like screaming, like, oh, Mom, I'm so sorry.
I mean, that would be weird.
Yeah, because like falling down that would be pretty awful. Like,
Yeah.
because you probably wouldn't die, you'd just be in a lot of pain.
Any predictions at large? And then we have one last thing
Uh,
that falls under predictions that we can't not talk about.
I think that Ed is going to start a big overarching plot. I think we'll see like bits and pieces of it here and there as he starts to put it together. Either he'll try to take over the city, or he's gonna try to get some other villains together. I feel like he's got a plan to really debut his mark and make sure everybody knows who the Riddler is, and I'm looking forward to seeing that plan play out.
That would be cool. But as far as Bruce goes, I saw this in the news, so it's not really a prediction, just sort of, some information, is that he sees the shaman first, and then and that's before Ra's al Ghul, so.
Okay. I'm sticking with the theory we've arrived at as well, that Bruce is gonna break out of the prison and then meet Ra's al Ghul. I think the shaman might be in the prison, or
And maybe is who helps him get
part of the
out. Like, there's
prison, or-
some sort of, level there.
there will be a lot of fun next week.
So
I think
exciting.
with that. So the thing we have to talk about, because we're covering Gotham, is that it's April 24th. It's episode 15.
Sure is.
Season 3, and we do not know if there will be a season 4.
Yeah.
This is not official. Upfronts aren't until late May. So we're going to know before the season finale, which will be, they're pretty much going to run until June 5th. They're going to do a double episode on June 5th. We're going to know, I believe Fox's upfronts are in the middle of May. So we're going to know whether they're announced during upfronts or not. However, we should be talking about it now.
Yes.
Lacretia, do you think it's going to happen?
I think that, when I saw the news first, I was like, yeah, Gotham is not going to be back. I think they're going to cancel it. But then somebody put in a good perspective that actually Warner Brothers likes things to be syndicated. And if they went one more season, they would have better syndication rights. And, with the 88 episodes, they could do that. And I think that Warner Brothers wants that, but it's in Fox's hands.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think Fox is maybe waiting on their pilots to see what's looking good and what's not. Gotham gets pretty steady numbers. They're not stellar numbers, but they do okay week to week. And I think
But it's a steady 5 million.
Yeah,
It'll never dip below 5 million ever.
right. So I think it's a smart bet to be like, look, if we don't have great material, we might as well just kick another season of this while we work on developing some good properties.
Because TV is in a weird place now, where a guaranteed 5 million on network TV for an hour-long drama, yeah, you
pretty
should,
good.
You should stick with that unless you honestly think you can get a reality show to do 12. Or you can get something like Empire that's just going to destroy everything, but that's lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
This is a guaranteed 5 million.
And two, with Fox has had a lot of hate over the years for canceling stuff prematurely. I don't think that they would want to get that again. I mean, because there'd be a lot of people just completely boycott the network. I mean, I know I didn't watch CW for years after they canceled Veronica Mars and Reaper. I mean, some of us are very angry about those things.
I buy it. Especially looking at Fox's lineup from just their summer lineups that came out last year. Help me out. So they had the new Sunday show where they're like an animated father, but a real life family. They had the Exorcist thing, which the showrunner ran his mouth about people talking about the show on social media, and social media was like, well, F you, we're not going to watch your show then. So they they're struggling a little bit with content. So I'd be surprised if Gotham doesn't come back. Like, it feels like it has at least one more good season in it, and the show does not feel like it's winding down at all right now. Now, they might find a good place to just leave off, and, like, the mythos of Batman, so the glory of it is you can end at any point and be like, and then Batman came, and everyone's going to be fine with it. But I feel like they could definitely go another season.
I've been back and forth. I've told multiple people that this is... like, Gotham has, as of this moment, the better part of a coin flip to get renewed. And I do think it's that. Like,
Bring in Two-Face.
55, maybe 60. 55, maybe 60 of 100% chance of being renewed, because there are a lot of other things at stake that TV networks have been known to make crazier decisions than walk away from a guaranteed $5 million. I personally think, all things considered, that they're going to bump this down. They're going to bump this down to like 12 or 18.
Okay.
And then sign it for 2. Maybe they sign it for 13. They do a fall 10 and then a spring 3.
You know what?
And then they do that twice.
Yeah.
And then they're at 88 or 89, and then they get the syndicate. Warner Brothers is happy. Fox gets what Fox doesn't have to pay for 22 episodes or 44 episodes over 2 years. That seems like the most logical plan. But it's Gotham, guys.
You just never know. What I like about this plan, though, is that a lot of fans, whether they say it directly or they're talking about things that the show didn't need, tightening up and condensing their storyline might be the best thing for these writers. Like, 22 episodes is a lot of material and time to fill, especially as we get used to these 10-episode seasons of really tight, full, complete stories. I would love them to do, instead of kind of, little kind of bits here and there, to get one really smartly packed, condensed episodes. That would be a really fun season.
And I wouldn't be shocked if these 3 episodes we saw in January 16th, 23rd, and the 30th, were a test run to see how this show would work in a 3-episode island in January.
And see, they did the same thing with Lucifer, is they intentionally picked 3 episodes together, because I think Fox is actually thinking ahead.
Yeah.
So, and
they
these
renewed
shows,
Lucifer already, though.
Yeah, exactly. Lucifer got renewed already, but at the same time, it's like, I feel that they're testing that out with shows to see how it actually works.
Because that's what we were saying in January was, well, if they cancel Lucifer, they're definitely renewing Gotham, or vice versa. And then they renewed Lucifer, and we're like...
But what about Gotham?
60-40, like, we're still 60-40 renewed.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments, because this is pertinent, fun speculation to go after. We obviously want the show to stay.
Yes.
So we can stay here at AfterBuzz TV to talk about it with you. In the meantime, where can the people find you on the Twitter, starting with Lacretia?
Hey guys, since I'm Lacretia Lyon, you can find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet, since there is only one, and be sure to follow me, guys. I'm doing a big prize once I hit the big 10,000 mark. It'll be on Twitter and Instagram, so there are 2 prizes to go away with exclusive stuff from Skybound, E3, and all sorts of goodies.
Ooh, fancy.
Cool.
I'm Joelle Monique. You can find me all over the internet at Joelle Monique, and every week at blackgirlnerds.com. Wednesdays, I'm doing Schmoes Knows, so head over there and say hey to the guys. Thursdays, Riverdale's, and the season finale of Powerless is this week, so come and check that out. And then, oh my gosh, guys, so exciting. Also coming up, we've got Handmaid's Tale and Genius, which is randomly coming on the Discovery Channel, but if you haven't seen anything about it, go look it up because it looks amazing, and I'm super excited.
And I'm Steve Kaufmann. You can find me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. That is Kaufmann. I'm also on Snapchat with the same handle, but I get real weird. Also, I'm doing Better Call Saul tonight with Lacretia.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be back next Sunday to cover WWE's Payback and Leftovers. That's going to be a weird night, and then I'll be back here to cover Gotham and Better Call Saul. Those are my shows. Thank you and good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Hashtag Renew Gotham.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.